Hey, what is up? How's it going? Hope you've had a productive couple of days. Welcome to the Creative Time Jumper Show. My name is Jonathan, and this is the show helping you get from shy creative to confident creative. We're going to continue the theme of using your time effectively. So, what if you had no time to work on the things you enjoy? How do you create more time? You might be so busy you literally don't have time for anything other than work, sleep, eat, and excrete. But everybody has time. It's what you do with your time that matters. What I like to say is what you constantly choose to make time for, you are saying this is important to me. And if you are a shy and somewhat zen and reserved creative like myself, there might be things that you're doing daily that are little time wasters that add up to become a chunk of wasted time. So in this episode, I'm going to take you through 3 things you should try and avoid so that you free up some time and help you realize you have more time than you think. Time waster number 1, complain in the morning. Complaining in the morning does several things. It's setting negative intentions for the day. It makes you miserable, creates negative energy, and this energy actually trickles into the people around you without you consciously realizing. And complaining along with stress may even age you faster and give you wrinkles. But I don't have any scientific evidence on that last point, so don't take my word for it. There are plenty of things wrong in the world, but there's also plenty, if not more, things to be grateful for. So complaining about how you hate getting up early, dreading going to work, or why people on the London Underground are stupid, creates bad energy like I mentioned. The worst part is when you complain and not do anything to change your mood. But I do get it. Some of us are not brimming with energy in the morning, and I'm definitely in this category. But try to take a look around next time you're commuting into work and notice how zombie-like people are. That's why I tend to slap on some Drake or Future in the morning to create my own vibes and little dances, even if people stare. So the next point is for you. If you're constantly hemming and hawing at things that aren't in your control, you're taking away energy from the real problems that need solving later that day. So what can you do to complain less in the morning? My advice is get excited about something. If that means bumping to Ariana Grande because it makes you feel good, do it. If it's having an intense workout before the day job, do it. Or if it's simply sending a message to a loved one, just do it. You gotta fill your mind with the right kind of energy. If you're commuting into work, instead of thinking, this is what I have to do, start saying, wow, I get to do this. So if you avoid complaining, it's no surprise that you'll get more work done and create a better environment for your co-workers or friends and people in general. Time waster number 2 is expecting things to go your way. So someone I look up to told me to stay 2 steps ahead and always have a backup plan, an option B. That advice mostly applies to creative work, but it's applicable to how you approach your day and use your time. Like complaining in the morning, having high expectations at the start of the day could set yourself up for a not so good day. I believe positive affirmations are good, but I've learned expectations are the cause of disappointment. We all want to have good days. People even tell us to have a good day, but it'll be up to you how you react to a curveball or a no-look pass. For example, a typical morning could look like this. You go pick up a croissant from your go-to store like you always do. You get into the office, unpack your bags, then you proceed to take a bite into the croissant. And to your luck, it's stale. The croissant isn't warm. It doesn't have that crunch where you bite and all the fresh crust falls down and the texture feels like plastic. Naturally, you will complain, and once you do, everything that follows will feel like a disaster. Here is where you can stay 2 steps ahead and have a backup. Either have an alternative snack or say to yourself, I can have a better croissant next time. It sounds so basic, right? But just being able to manage your expectations will help you focus and spend time on the things that actually matter. How this relates to your creative projects and creative growth is by expecting the journey is going to be rough and not as slick and smooth as successful people make it out to be. And I said to myself I wouldn't go there before recording this episode, but yes, expectations in a relationship are a killer. And I'm sure you've been in something similar where you fail to meet your partner's expectation of you, to take them out on an anniversary date and those special type of occasions. Because if you've been there, then you know what happens next. You spend time trying to fix the situation, flip disappointment into belief, and start promising unrealistic goals, where instead you could be talking about what memories you could be making together next time. So here's what you can do. Plan things to not go according to plan. Worry less about the things you cannot control. A perfect day, a perfect project, or a perfect relationship doesn't exist. It's only about what you have to work with in front of you, whatever gets thrown at you. If there's anything that you should expect in your day-to-day encounters is expect to be surprised. All right, time waster number 3, social media at night. To be specific, I mean in bed before you go to sleep. Now, there are scientific reasons to this, none of which I am an expert on or have results in front of me, but I do know using your phone at night can impact your quality of sleep, worsen your mental health, and reduce performance next day. It's particularly bad, especially if your day job involves lots of time behind a screen and you then use your time to relax on social media. It's known to affect your eyes and you will feel groggy next day. Social media had to get a mention. Great pun, I know. And to be frank, using a social media isn't completely a time waster. I'll explain. I read a tweet recently, I can't remember in verbatim, but it said something like, don't use social media less, use it intentionally and stop using social media to complain, hate, and engage in negative trends. And it's true, complaining once again is a time waster, and your time is best spent to approach using social media with purpose. Mindless scrolling will suck up your time and energy, where you could be using this time to comment and reply to something useful. One solution is to set aside time for social media. Add a time constraint. I know some apps and iPhones tell you on average how much time you spend on social media, and that should give you a good indication of where your time is being spent. I definitely advise to use social media to connect with creatives and businesses, but try catch yourself next time you're mindlessly scrolling on social media, as that will be time wasted. The urge is real, and I do find myself reaching for my phone to check Twitter and Instagram. That's why I restarted a habit and replaced social media at night with reading a book, because 1, there's no blue light to ruin my already bad eyes, and 2, I get to end the day with information I choose to learn and not whatever content I see on my social timelines. To wrap up, because I think I may have gone a little longer with this one, avoid complaining in the morning so that you have the right mental space to create work and therefore time to work on the things you enjoy later that day. A perfect day doesn't exist. You may have scheduled time to work on your projects, but try to expect your day to not go as planned and be prepared to be surprised. Lastly, replace a social media before bed with something more productive like reading a book. Generally, avoid using any kind of screens before going to sleep. The caveat is to use social media less, but use social media with purpose and intention to either learn something new, engage with your inspirations, and to build your creative confidence. So making the last 30 minutes of your day free from social media-ing is a good way to start. And that is it for this episode of the Creative Time Chamber. So I hope you took something valuable away from this episode. If there is anything that you learned, and also if you feel someone else can benefit from the advice being given in this episode, feel free to share this video with them. And if you want to continue the conversations, the Instagram and Twitter is at the CT Chamber. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening if you're listening to this as soon as it goes out. If not, have a great week. All right, take it easy.